Greetings from the Philippines to the world. We are on Facebook Live on Eagle News and also on our streaming site, eaglenewslive.com. Watch us on our YouTube channel at Eagle News. I am Cesar Vallejos. Welcome to Open for Business Home Edition. Join me discover the latest news and information in business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. The coronavirus pandemic that forced lockdowns has paralyzed many economic activities, not only in the Philippines, but also across continents, as some factories are also shut down, bringing some manufacturing companies to a halt. The COVID-19 pandemic has ushered in a host of challenges to manufacturers, especially those that depend on workers whose jobs cannot be carried out remotely. The pandemic has impacted on sourcing, production, distribution, and marketing. And today, in Open for Business Home Edition, we will have in your screens the Vice President of Mega Global Corporation, a leading manufacturer and distributor of canned goods, also known for their innovation in fishing, food technology, and packaging. What can manufacturers do to combat the impact of COVID? Marvin Chiu Lim, Vice President of Sales and Marketing of Mega Global Corporation, will share his insights when Open for Business Home Edition returns. Stay with us. Open for Business Home Edition is back. And today we have with me Marvin Chiu Lim, the Vice President for Sales and Marketing of Mega Global Corporation. Good day, Marvin.
Good day, everyone.
Hey, Marvin, thank you very much for agreeing to guest in the show Open for Business. And recently we had this news that, of course, the President and the IATF already has extended the ECQ. So far, what would you think will be the impact to the economy? So as a matter of fact, with the other SMEs, with the other businesses, sabi nila, medyo April 14 or April 12 is already something that they wanted halted or lifted. But now we're looking at this new date, April 30. In your case, as the VP of a large corporation, what do you think is the impact of the economy?
Cesar, I think the impact for SMEs would be tragic. A lot of small businesses to medium-sized businesses will get impacted for having almost no operations for 6 weeks. However, we have to weigh in the fact that the virus is still spreading. And if we do not cut the virus down as early as now, in the long run, we might suffer more. So I firmly believe and stand with the government's decision to extend the lockdown or the ECQ so that we may be able to return to normalcy hopefully after.
A lot of MSMEs, Marvin, were not really able to prepare for this. Actually, not only the MSMEs, but large companies like you. So far, and I think what I've been hearing is that talagang problema ng mga negosyo ngayon would be cash flow. So
Yes.
this also, what you are experiencing right now with big companies like you. At least you have your contingencies, you have your crisis management team, and I think somehow you have prepared for this. But in this case, are you also echoing this common problem of cash flow and cash Are you echoing that problem of MSMEs?
Well, first of all, really no one has prepared for this, whether you are small scale, medium scale, large scale. I think all companies, private and public, have been taken by surprise among the gravity of the situation. No one could have expected this to happen at this time as well. With regards to the cash flow problems, we are blessed a lot because our industry, the FMCG industry, and particularly our product, Mega Sardines, is the number one relief goods right now. So we are positively impacted by what's happening. However, we are not rejoicing because the sales have increased. However, the sustainability of our business has not. When I say sustainability, when we look at 2, 3, 4 months down the road, are we able to keep on supplying our trade partners, the public, our goods? That is in question. So the sales that we are experiencing right now can only be temporary, but when we look at the long term, it will have negative impacts not only for us, but of course all our other supplier partners as well.
Okay, yeah, Marvin, you mentioned somehow that there is you have increased sales, so that is a good thing because of course with the other sectors, a lot of them are have zero orders at all, and one good thing about your business is that people love to eat and people love sardines, and of course even the relief goods now would have parang what's the term there, ubiquitous. So sardines has become something that has to be there in the household. But my question there is, um, aside from increased sales, what are the other positive impact of this crisis? I know that a lot of people will tell me, and a lot of businesses will tell me about the negative impact. But in your case, somehow there's some sort of upliftment. People would want to hear about the positive things that's also happening. So what's happening in your industry is somehow
Yes.
positive. Ano po ba yung ibang positibo sa crisis na ito?
So, as we all know, sardines is a heritage product in the Filipino pantry. No? Pag Filipino ka, most likely or not, you've eaten canned sardines in your whole life. It is actually one of the cheapest sources of proteins that is available to the Filipinos, and we pride ourselves for being able to provide that. Imagine a 17 peso, 18 peso can of sardines can feed up to a family of 5 people already for a meal. So that's very affordable when it comes to that product mix. However, there are positives right now. I don't want to say such positives, but we're trying to make positivity out of crisis through how we are able to communicate to our consumers. So right now, you see there's a lot of memes on sardines because a lot of people have been accepting relief goods packed with sardines, and most of those, I'm proud to say, is of the Mega brand because we made it a priority to make sure that all our stocks are available for purchase to LGUs, foundations, and we made a good buffer stocks available in our warehouses, so we're able to serve majority of people who are approaching us. But for the positive side of it, since everyone is focused on sardines, that's all they eat every day. It enable us to communicate to our consumers more. So we're on top of mind all the time. We're able to give them recipes. We're able to educate them on why sardines is good, why sardines is nutritious. At the same time, so I believe it's now is a perfect time to build more brand equity and brand relationship and love between our customers.
Which again is something very exciting, because exciting in times of crisis, because number one, before, as you mentioned in your last statement, before yung in-store sales, is what's driving now, before the crisis. But now, I noticed, because you're saying that you always would want to communicate with your consumers, and consumers are now in their homes. They're staying in their homes. So I'm sure there's a lot of a huge increase, an exponential increase in terms of online orders or online communication. So how is your company doing this strategic initiative to communicate with consumers online?
So what's good with our company is that even back in 2014, we have already initially invested in our digital platforms on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we have heavily invested in our e-commerce areas as well. So we were expecting that there would be a boom on e-commerce. We just didn't know it would be this quickly. So when it comes to digitalization, how we communicate, we have a Prime Month as well. I think we were fully prepared to do so, and now majority of our communications run through these social media platforms, and we update the consumers on what we're doing as a company. We stay true to our brand, and we focus on giving back really to the community and showing the people that we care.
Mhm. So, as a follow-up question, Marvin, um, at least in your case, you somehow are prepared for this because, as you mentioned earlier, way before the crisis, you have this somehow digital transformation. So,
Yes.
are you saying that, especially in this time, companies, business owners should really implement digital transformation? And to you, what do you think, or what's your view on digital transformation? Before you started, was it just? I'm sure it's not only just your presence on the website, but you utilized social media.
Yes.
To you, what's the process for MSMEs to also embrace digital transformation?
So right now, Cesar, I think since we're all stuck at home, there's a lot of different webinars that we can attend and to educate us on how to take our business digital. Definitely, I believe after this COVID issue, when it will decrease or when it will end, a whole massive shift towards digital will happen, and it's already happening now. More and more people are buying e-commerce, trying them for the first time. More different categories are growing in sales. So this is the best time ever to catch yourself up on how to take your business digital. You can no longer deny it, refute it. Everything will go digital. And I believe that this crisis is just a jump start to it. So there are a lot of webinars, Go Negosyo, DTI. Facebook actually has some seminars as well. You can try out how to use a Facebook business page. You can sell your things on the marketplace. It's sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error, but if you don't try, you won't succeed at anything. So I just encourage everyone to try new things, especially in digital, where the capital is not that big.
Okay, Marvin, that's a great insight. At least a lot of our viewers who belong to the MSME sector will really take a hard look now on digital transformation.
Mhm.
Now, being the leading manufacturer of your brand, I'm sure there's a lot of challenges in terms of the processes from your manufacturing to your distribution. So, what are the changes that you have adapted to quickly to be able to survive in this crisis?
Well, I'll start from the whole process, no? Coming from the fishing. So our fishing operation just started in March 1 because there's a closed season from December 1 to March 1 for 3 months to allow the fish in Zamboanga, the area there, to reproduce. So it's good timing that this COVID issue happened now when the season is open. So the fishermen are currently out at sea. They are quarantined there. They are not allowed to step on land. If they do, they can no longer go back to the Laos. So a lot of fishermen are just there so that they don't risk any contamination. So fish catch has been good, relatively okay. There has been no major changes in the process of how we catch fish. But then now we go down to the manufacturing plants. We had to establish a lot of social distancing in the plants, disinfecting. We had to add additional processes. Efficiency eventually had to go down because we had to add more steps. At the same time, the COVID situation in Zamboanga happened later than it happened in Luzon. So right now, a lot of people are still kind of scared. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't. I think there are around 7 cases in Zamboanga now. So a lot of them are just on a wait and see. So in terms of attendance in manufacturing, workers. We're only up to around 60%. So we're trying to fast track a lot of automation and a lot of things that we can do. But then again, we've already established the whole season for this cycle. When we go down to distribution, which is based here in Manila, we had to book our inventory in advance with the shipping lines, and it was good that we had a good amount of inventory here in Manila that would suffice for the island of Luzon for a good 2 months. However, that is now dwindling due to the high surge in demand. So during the ECQ, we had to rally our people. We had to ask them if they wanted to come in. We couldn't force anyone to come in, but then majority of them giving them a higher calling when it comes to, hey guys, we're here, we're in this company, we're blessed that we have a company that is still operating, we still have revenues, we still have jobs, and we have a duty to the Filipino people to make sure that our goods are provided to them as relief. And if we don't come in, if we don't work, who will be able to provide for them? I mean, we're the number one sardine brand in the Philippines, and it is our responsibility to be there in their time of need. So those are the adjustments in the psychological aspects that we made internally. And a lot of our workers are still coming in, and we appreciate them for it. And when it comes to the sales, we had to arrange with our partners on allocation. Okay, how much do you need? When do you need it? We had to advance plan everything else. So I think a majority of our structure in our processes had to change overnight. How we market, we had to change a lot of different events that we were initially planned to do on the ground. We had to cancel all of those. Certain jobs of our people had to be moved to another job, meaning what they were doing before they couldn't do now. So right now we're still work from home. Majority of our people are still work from home. Although we have unseen frontliners who are the ones refilling the shelves, the one delivering our goods, the one in the warehouse. So we really appreciate them, and we gave them care packages. But then Cesar, above everything else, the first thing we did was to make sure that we could take care of our people. Because if we take care of our people, we make sure that the people takes care of the consumers. Saman. So we invested a lot and really make sure that the people that we have aboard are safe.
Wow, wow. That's a lot of activities, Marvin. Now, you mentioned about distribution. In your case, because of course your coverage is the whole Philippines, and not only in the Philippines, but also in different parts of the world, because you also export, correct? So
Yeah.
now, what were your issues in terms of logistics? Because of course, in the many lockdowns, not only here in the Philippines, but in other parts of the country, of the world, there are also lockdowns where delivery of goods are not allowed, especially initially when there were no specific guidelines mentioned. Pero at least ngayon, medyo malinaw na.
Yeah.
So, what were your challenges in terms of logistics? And I think related to that would be, you also mentioned about inventory. With inventory, gaano ba kadami dapat yung inventory mo? For you to like say, this happened, we didn't really anticipate this. But maybe some of the viewers who are also business owners may want to consider, this kind of inventory level. Nagkataon na in your case, you have, as you mentioned, a good inventory. But what if it happened, and a lot of people like us, we have your right in our homes, we have a stock of your product. So what are your challenges in terms of logistics, distribution, and also the level of inventory that you have to keep? Is there a rule of thumb there that you have to do in your industry?
Yes, that's perfect. There is a rule of thumb. That is the beauty of the fast-moving consumer goods industry, the FMCG industry. So this industry is the biscuits, coffee, anything you see in the sari-sari store is fast-moving. So when we say fast-moving, there are certain inventory levels in the store. That there is a minimum level for the stores. Let's say 1 to 2 weeks, they have that in the store. There is also certain minimum levels of inventory in the regional distributors. So that's almost around 4 to 6 weeks. So if you can see there, there's an automatic 6 to 8 weeks inventory in the trade right now. So that buffer itself alone was good enough to make sure that the initial 2 weeks of ECQ, where all the logistical concerns were hampered, was cushion enough for us to be sure that our products were still available. Now it's relatively easier because the checkpoints are free flowing. Lalo na if they see it's sardines, which is the most basic commodity there is, they really allow it. I think now it's not really a matter of the constraint of checkpoints and logistics because truckers are plentiful. There is no traffic. We have no one to complete our truckers thought. The only problem now is that because our system was so is designed to only accommodate this much volume, and when you double that or increase that, the strain internally in the operations is somewhat compensated or somewhat
Right.
there's a danger there, but eventually our people were able to manage that constraint. So in the FMCG industry, there is really buffer stocks that we call, and usually us we maintain a 3-month minimum inventory level plus another 4 weeks in the regional distributors plus another 2 weeks in the trade accounts. So it's healthy. So people don't have to worry about sardines running out of stocks because we're trying our best to replenish as always.
Okay. Another issue that you mentioned is the importance of people. Based on my interviews with the other CEOs lately, they say that how you treat people today, this time of crisis, will define how they will treat you and your company and your brand in the future. Uh, what are your initiatives or your HR initiatives that you can also share to the business owners to really take care of their people at this time?
Yeah, I really like that because that's a close place in my heart, no? Because one of our core values, Cesar, is being malasakit to the company, no? And malasakit is it goes both ways. We expect our employees to have malasakit towards our company, and we have to also show malasakit to them. So we initiated a lot of different HR policies ever since the ECQ. The number one thing we did was that we mandated work from home. We allowed people to bring the tools home, their computers home, so that they can effectively make sure that they are safe, their family is safe. On top of that, we allowed additional allowances for people who would come to work. Sometimes there are crucial things that you can't work from home at. So we identified that, yes, there might be a lack of public transportation or expenses go up. So we provide them additional pay if they come work. So aside from that, we understand it's hard to prepare meals because you can't really buy outside. You can't really, So we give them free meals in the office, in the warehouse, and we make financial aid available. They can withdraw loans or draw loans if they need to immediately without with fast approval. Our HMO, our healthcare plan covers COVID. So if you have sickness to COVID, our HMO covers that. So we have in some areas we have free shuttle services. So if you have really no place to go to work from, we have a van. We have vans all throughout that can bring you to your place of work. And lastly, I think I'm very proud of this is that we provided a mega care packages to all our people. So we have 4,000 employees, and we haven't given everyone yet. Logistically, it's hard, but most of them and a lot of them nationwide, we've given mega care packages. This is our products and rice to make sure that they realize that the brand they work for really takes care of them and their family, even at home.
Wow, wow, wow! That's something really amazing. So now going back to uh, your people, you mentioned that some of them are really very willing to really report to work because
Yes.
not only for themselves, but as you mentioned earlier, it's a good service for the Filipino because the Filipinos would like, without sardines, maybe life would be different.
Mhm.
But But my question now there is in terms of healthy precautions, in terms of the health and safety, of the preparation of or the manufacturing of sardines, are there specific or stricter healthy precautions, sanitation that has happened because of COVID? Because of course, people now, the reason why they're also very some are adamant or some are very very conscious about the deliveries, because they maybe are safe at home, but for the food that they buy somewhere might be infected. That's why there's a lot of sanitation, disinfection that's happening. So what is your company's assurance that you are doing everything to ensure that the preparation, of these products really undergo a very strict health and sanitation efforts?
So, Cesar, that's a good question. No? Our brand Mega has been in the market for only 20 years now. So, in 2015, we became number one, beating over heritage brands which have been there for 60, 65 years, 70 years. So, that's really hard to do. And the main difference of us is that we really strive and really honor or pride ourselves in our quality. Our quality starts when we catch the fish. When we catch the fish, we have certain technologies that we invested upon, wherein the fish is caught and sucked into a fish pump, and that fish is then transferred to a carrier boat without any manual labor. So that in turn allows fish to die in natural through freezing. And when you freeze that at a certain degree, the temperature of the fish does not rise anymore. So if the temperature of the fish does not rise, the freshness is still there. And histamine, which causes the malansa flavor, yung makate, does not exist. And after that, within 12 hours, since we are vertically integrated, the fish that we've caught from the sea is canned already. So we ensure freshness. So not only do we ensure freshness, but all the processes that we put in place are internationally certified. So we're probably the only brand to have all the certifications that can be globally exported. That's why you see us throughout the world. So we have an EU certification, we have HACCP certification, we have the FSSC 2000, which is one of the toughest things to get. That's about traceability. And these certifications really enable our company to make sure that each product we put out is of high quality, high consistency, and of no contamination at all. So really, we did not have to change much in our process because we've already been doing it in the first place.
Wow, that's good to know. Now, I forgot to ask this follow-up question earlier in terms of the logistics, in terms of your exports. Here, dito sa Pilipinas, we're okay because
Yeah.
at least the government has really, came up with very detailed guidelines, that there has to be no restrictions or continuous flow of products. What about your exports? Are you experiencing a halt as well? Because based on the, like say, the reports of the CNN Focus earlier, talagang lockdowns yung iba, and they do
Yeah.
not really accept products or travels both in and outside of their countries. So in terms of exports, what do you think is what's your outlook? If there is stoppage or a halt at this point, are you looking at a pick up of the export market eventually, and at what timeline?
So for our industry and our product, Cesar, the export is not as big as the local market, and majority of our export markets are where OFWs are located because our products are still for the taste of the Filipinos. So we export our own brand, and it only is recognized by majority Filipinos only. And as we know, there has been a lot of OFWs that have come home already. And I expect that our export volume will decrease over time until the OFWs come back to work abroad because we are a Filipino brand and we are a Filipino product. So right now, we are not able to export out yet due to the certain crisis, but there are orders that we are fulfilling. But then in the long run, I think it will decline.
a lot of people are also, they do not actually know how, sardines is prepared. Like for example, kami, kahain lang, lutuin lang in different ways. But what's the effort, that comes with this preparation of this sardine manufacturing? Because and another thing there that maybe you can also reply to is this, like say, di ba parang gas lang yan, a gas is a gas, or
Yeah.
a gas for different brands. So what makes your brand different from the other
Okay.
sardines? So is it the fish that was caught? Is it the area where the or is it the fisher folk who was really getting all this produce? So what is behind this canning or sardine manufacturing?
So I encourage everyone to look at our catching to canning videos on YouTube. We have a few. We've been highlighting it there for quite a while to really teach the people or tell the story of how sardines are made. So we have a recent one that's actually starred by Piolo Pascual. So if you guys want to see that when you're at home, that's a good video to watch. So a lot of this is a good story because people don't really realize what it takes to make canned sardines in the Philippines, and I'm proud to always tell this story because canned sardines really is a Filipino product, as I said again, and majority of the raw materials really come from the Philippines also. It's not like other products out there that are only packed here in the Philippines but imported from other nations. So here, the benefit of it is that we are employing a lot of people. A lot of families are being, taking advantage of the employment as well because it is happening here in the Philippines. So that's one. At the same time, as I was explaining, there are I think we have over 900 fishermen in sea. And that we have over 88 vessels in the sea right now. And most of them, they stay there 9 months at a time. From March 1 to November 30, they stay there. They don't come home. And there itself is a big challenge already. Imagine being away from your family for 9 months at a time. So that's a big challenge. And, they work at night. Fish is caught when there is no daylight because they are attracted to specific light areas. So it has to happen at night. So they work throughout the night. Because of the technology that we have, which is a fish pump, it's no longer as laborious, so it's not as hard on the body. But then again, it is still hard being out there 9 months at a time. So there itself, the catching itself, there's already a big process behind it because these 88 vessels have to have certain maintenance schedules, have to have certain, shipyard or rebuilding schedules. At the same time, we make our own ships internally. It might surprise a lot of people, but Filipinos can make their own commercial size fishing vessels, and we've done so. And it is up to the standards of the Japanese and Korean vessels that we have. So really, everything is integrated. So now we go to the canning. Once we catch the fish, the canning is there, and also our canning plants. It's world class. We employ around 1,600 people in our canning plants, so we produce over 2 million cans a day. So really, all that effort, is really poured into making a simple can of sardines, which is 17 pesos. And yet, so much people are behind it. And what makes us different is all the quality measures, the technology that we put into it, and of course, the trust and the branding that we put into it as well, and the innovations. We were the ones who pioneered the easy open can back in 2012 for the whole industry. Not only sardines, but every other canned food industry in the Philippines. We were the first ones to come up. We're the first ones to have the pouch sardines, the pouch in Tetra Pak, the sardines in Tetra Pak. So these innovations that we put really resonate with the consumers and sets us apart from other sardines.
Wow, that's interesting. Is there also a study, Marvin, on how Filipinos are responding to the brand? Like, for example, with the technologies, with the innovations that you mentioned. So yung easy to open and
Yes.
also the pouch. what specific and how do you do this? What specific marketing research are you doing? How often that you do this? To ensure that you take on that kind of market leadership that you're.
Of course, with every move that we make, it requires a significant investment. So even before we make any big moves like that, we run it through FGDs, focus group discussions, research. So we really study the moves that we make beforehand. However, let's say in convenience, we decided to do this back in 2012 to make sure, because the rest of the world was already using easy open cans. So easy open can at that time, the lid cost almost a piso more. And at that time, I think the cost of sardines was only 10, 11 pesos. So that's a good 10% increase. But then the consumers were willing to pay for it. And the mere fact that there was a typhoon in 2012 and a lot of people were asking to donate relief goods, and a lot of them clamored for relief goods that had easy open cans because you are stuck in a flooded area
Yeah.
and people are giving you relief goods. You don't expect them to have a can opener with them, right? So I think that's where it changed overnight. People thought, okay, we're gonna pay this much difference. It's totally worth it. Hindi na ako masusugatan, hindi na ako mahihirapan. So those kinds of reactions is what validates our moves. And right now, with the advent of social media and a lot of traction currently now, we're looking at all the comments. We can really see that people have aligned to our brand when it comes to quality, our freshness, our taste, and a lot of people are following it because of that. So that gives us validation.
Wow, that's really good to hear. Now, there are a lot of initiatives now, as far as, of course, I know that in your case, corporate social responsibility is already innate. You don't have to, launch a CSR campaign because as you discussed in your core values, ando na yung malasakit. But if you can share with the MSMEs also, and also large corporations, how do you launch a CSR campaign in these times to really create an impact? Because, of course, some of the other companies or other businesses would have this kind of mindset that
Yeah.
CSR is just a PR campaign. But in these times, Marvin, that's why I love, what you're doing also, because, people can feel it, they don't really think that it's more of a PR or a CSR
Yeah.
campaign, but they can actually feel, the impact of that
Yeah.
activity. So what's your suggestion now for companies, business owners, in launching campaigns that will be really felt by those who are in need of this trying time?
Yes. So for our CSR, we really believe even before the situation like this, we've already had a foundation and we've already done almost monthly CSR projects in different barangays throughout the Philippines, feeding them. We launched a nutrition program feeding undernourished children by 0 to 5 years old. Ever since the start, we believed in giving back, and because giving back to us not only satisfies our employees and makes them happy, also satisfies our consumers, and at the same time, the blessings flow back tenfold. The more you give is the more you receive. And we truly believe that because in everything that we do, whether it be big or small, we don't expect anything in return, but we just make sure we're there, we're helping people. So my advice really to MSMEs is that no matter how small or how big you are, because our donation it pales in comparison to other larger companies. But we're trying to help in our own little way, meaning whatever you're good at, wherever you are, you can still do good, you can still help in your own little way. And that's what we're doing. So we're making sure that the goods are available for purchase. We're making sure that we donate on top of this as well. We're making sure that we feed frontliners or unseen frontliners, Cesar. Actually, we have a restaurant that we converted into what we call the Mega Malasakit Kitchen. So every day, our chefs who want to work, so we gave them accommodations there, so they stay there so that they don't contaminate and don't go out. We provide 500 meals a day to the unseen frontliners. These are the people in the checkpoints, the army, MMDA, the cashiers in the supermarkets, the baggers, the merchandisers. So the people who are around our areas and the people who we believe we can impact or reach out to, we immediately do. So my advice is that you have to, we all have to reach out and help. And I think that's one of the great things about being a Filipino is that in times of crisis such as this, a lot of us really rally together and help each other out. And I'm very proud that it really happens. You can see sa lahat ng mga typhoons, earthquakes, natural disasters, and I am in the side of the supplier. I know how much people order. I know people calling me left and right wanting to donate. So I can really feel that people's wants and needs to give back to the community. And I think it's such a big blessing that we're in this, that type of positivity. You know? I think I encourage everyone to dwell on that rather than all the negativity that we're hearing in the news now. Just dwell on what we can do now in our own little way and try to help each other out.
Wow, that's really amazing to hear. Now I have a few more questions. We're running out of time. We cannot really feel the how long the time is with this kind of discussion. But a few more questions. In terms of policy recommendations, assuming there are policy recommendations that should be addressed by both the government and private sector. What are these? What do you think should be addressed? Like, say, for example, I was listening to Go Negosyo din kanina kay the presidential advisor. And he said, ay kailangan talaga magkaroon ng testing centers or more testing centers. So because if we don't have those many testing centers, and if this will continue to happen, the lockdown will continue to happen, there might be some kind of recession. So the testing centers would be one major initiative that has to be made so that everything again will go back to normal. In your case, Marvin, being as a leader in the manufacturing business, ano ba yung pwede mong i-suggest in terms of policy recommendations that the government or the private sector can do, especially post-COVID? Kasi we don't know, after April 30, there might be some extension again to a lesser, a smaller scale. So what are your possible recommendations to government?
So, first of all, I resonate with the Go Negosyo's tips to create more testing centers because I believe that testing centers are the way to really move forward in a calculated manner. If we do not test, we wouldn't know where the infection is. And once we continuously test, we can identify where the hotspots are and make sure that, okay, this area is okay, we can open this, we can open this. So that's the only way we can know how. And imagine if we have a vaccine, how long it will take for us to get that vaccine and distribute it in the Philippines. So it will be a long time since we go back to normal, even if there is a normal. But in my opinion, in our realm, which is the FMCG sardine industry, the policies that I can suggest to the government is we have to work together. We have to work closely together to plan on the future needs of the food of the Filipino people. How can we help? How can government and private partnerships help in terms of allocations of raw materials when we import, let's say, the tomato paste from China? How can we expedite the releases of the containers that is crucial for manufacturing? How can they help us get more people into our plants to produce more? So it's not mostly about policy changes. It's about how, because policy changes take a while. And policy is just policy. I want to see, in my opinion, we all want to see, we need to feel more action rather than policy making. And we need to feel that there are different avenues for us to explore in terms of getting more people, focusing more resources, helping us with logistics. So I think long term, where our realm is, I think we need to focus on feeding, making sure that the general population, which is really below the poverty line, is well fed, and people continue to live.
Wow, well said. Well said. I agree with that. Kasi kumbaga marami na tayong batas. So ipatupad na lang ang mga batas. Now, with all this that's happening, In terms of business model naman,
Kasi
are
siya yung nag-ano
you
kayo yun,
looking at
cover ni kagabi.
potential changes in your case ba, in your business model?
Masama ba
Do you
pakiramdam?
think that it is already future proof? And if assuming you will change business
Tsaka bago
model,
siya mag...
like for example, you said e-commerce, for example, you know that it's gonna pick up, but you didn't realize that it has to pick up
Yeah.
now. So, what business models do you think would continue to grow on? And if there has to be a shift, saan mag-shift yung business model?
So currently now, Cesar, I believe that the business models that we are experiencing throughout different industries are ever changing. It changes every day depending on policies, depending on how COVID is throughout the world and how COVID is here in the Philippines. And I think it is very tough to say what the business models will look like when we come out of this, because we don't even know when we're going to come out and how we're going to be coming out unscathed. But the thing I think people need to have, companies need to have, big or small, is agility. Agility to make sure that you are quick in making decisions, quick in making changes in the way you do business, quick in identifying what are the new opportunities, or quick in releasing the old threats and the old liabilities that you have. Agility is what's needed right now. I mean, you have to make quick decisions that are calculated. And again, there is no fortune teller. No one can tell you. They can just estimate. But then again, no one estimated this. How can you guess? How can you take their word for it, right? So you just take things as it is, and you surround yourself with good information, and you make sure that you're agile. You cut through all the red tape. You make decisions quick.
Okay, we're almost running out of time, but I have two more questions.
Sure.
Okay, so what are your personal learnings in these trying
4
times?
minutes na lang.
Well, now since I've been at home for almost 4 weeks, so personally, I spent a lot of time with my family. So I got to know my kids better and trying to get in shape as well. So personally, I think I'm a more better person coming out of it, and I still strive to be better. So I'm trying to learn a lot online as well, and because of your show and other shows, it's keeping me busy. So I'm happy because of that. And all the orders that we're receiving, all the help that we are doing keeps us busy as well. So generally, we have to be positive. No? This is a very negative world out there, and what's happening to us really is change, and a lot of people are resistant naturally to change. So we have to be positive in spite of all the changes.
Yun yung mahirap eh.
Okay, and you said, I think I heard this when you spoke at the Philippine Marketing Association and when you presented. You mentioned about this new normal. Palagay mo, ito na ba yung new normal? Or as you said, or is it really normal? Or what's the new normal to you? And how do you foresee this new normal will be the normal in the coming days?
Again, going back to my initial discussion, was that we won't know what the new normal is and when it will start. However, right now, I can safely say, since the lockdown is until, or ECQ is until April 30, this will be the new temporary normal, us working from home. And even after that, I don't think if the ECQ is lifted, we have to practice social distancing in the workplace. We won't be able to allow everyone to work in the office. We would need to have a work from home schedule as well. So I believe what we're going through is the new normal already. We would have more of these cyber meetings as well. And I don't think things will change in the next 6 or even 12 months. So this will be the new normal, and we have to embrace it as soon as we can.
Okay.
For the next
And
6 months,
what are
my
your
goodness.
suggestions,
Suggestions
your advice to entrepreneurs, to manufacturers, business owners who are listening now, for them to survive the COVID-19 crisis? There's a lot of them, especially those who don't have that enough
Ano sabi niya, suggestion?
cash. I spoke
Suggestions or
with
advice to our
Mr. Josiah Go
entrepreneurs.
also earlier this week, and he said yung mga nakakausap niya, siguro pinakamatagal yung 6 weeks ang cash. But a lot of them would have this 2 week worth of cash only. So what are your tips to them for them to also survive during this time?
Ibuhan kayo na kay ate.
So right now, I think we have to have a change in paradigm. I believe that everyone, majority of us, will get affected negatively when it comes to profits, cash flow. And I think the sooner that we're able to accept that happening to us, the earlier that we can rise from it. No, because it happens. We can't calculate when, but then it happens to any business, and we have to make sure that we're not in a negative framework in terms of our mindset to capture new opportunities that arises in the future. And we have to recalibrate our business to really focus on what we're good at. What we're good at before cannot no longer be effective now. What can we be good at that is relevant now? Yeah, but for sure, after this, there will also be a lot of opportunities that will arise. I myself have a small businesses on the side, and kwento ko lang, one of my small businesses is selling laptops. So
Naku, nawawala siya. Stop natin. Ulit tayo.
I have a shop in
Ulit ka
Greenhouse.
dito.
So because of the lockdown, I
Wala na.
packed
Sila
up all my laptops. So I brought home all my laptops by myself, together with my employees, and I brought it here to my house. And I have a warehouse, one of my rooms. I converted it to a warehouse. And I expected the shop to close. I expected no sales at all. But imagine this, Cesar. I'm having more sales now at home than I was having a shop. I have to rethink if I'm going to still pay for that rental spot, right? So I shifted my business focus, not by will, but by chance, because there are a lot of work from home people that need laptops, right? So who didn't have laptops before. So we took advantage of that situation, and now I'm selling more than ever, so which is good, right? So I encourage everyone to look at that, to try new things, and take advantage of the situation wherever you are.
Okay, that's perfect. I could be a future prospect, a client of that laptop. I will have to see because later on after the show. Okay, if you can address directly the MSMEs who are watching now.
This is a hard time for everyone. Don't give up. If you made it before, you've had success before, I'm sure you will have it again. Just make sure you don't give up. There are a lot of trials in everyone's lives. We have all been through it. And what I can safely say is that usually after every trial, after every failure, we are usually better than before.
That is well said. That is Mr. Marvin Chu Lim, the Vice President for Sales and Marketing of Mega Global Corporation. Open for Business will be back with our term of the week and our word for the week. Stay tuned. Open for Business is back, and our term of the week is from Investopedia.com. Our term is crisis management. Crisis management is the identification of threats to an organization and its stakeholders and the methods used by the organization to deal with these threats. Due to the unpredictability of global events, organizations must be able to cope with the potential for drastic changes in the way they conduct business. Crisis management often requires decisions to be made within a short time frame and often after an event has already taken place. In order to reduce uncertainty in the event of a crisis, organizations often create a crisis management plan. And our word of the week is from Ryan Reynolds. He said, any kind of crisis can be good. It wakes you up. Thank you for watching Open for Business Home Edition. Join us again in the next episodes of Open for Business for more insights from CEOs, thought leaders, and industry experts promoting business development in the Philippines. See you again every Saturday and Sunday here in Open for Business, where we discuss business information, deliver the latest business news to keep you informed, and open for business and be ahead of the curve from vision to action. You're on Facebook Live on Eagle News, and you can watch this again in the video section of the Eagle News Facebook page and on eaglenewslive.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Eagle News. For Open for Business Home Edition, this is Cesar Vallejos. Will leave. Interesting time.